The last few weeks have been concerning if you're a software developer, and very concerning if you're a software megacorporation that relies on the SaaS business model. Here's why that line sent shockwaves through boardrooms. The model where a customer never really owns an app, but rents the privilege to click buttons forever at a rich profit margin, just hit a wall. Adobe, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Shopify, and others collectively saw $1 trillion wiped from their market caps in a matter of weeks. The suits finally connected the dots. If an AI agent can do the work of 10 people in 10 milliseconds, they do not need 10 seats. They might not need any. This is not about interest rates. It is not about accounting tricks. It is about intelligence becoming cheap and abundant. And the clearest signs are 7 developments that point to a death spiral for seat-based software. First, OpenAI released the Codeex app for macOS, described as a command center for agents. It crossed 1 million downloads in its first week. It gives anyone a simple way to run agentic workflows in parallel. That is a big shift. Instead of asking a developer to build an app, a manager can click a few buttons, spin up agents, and get working software. Then, the developer is asked to debug the 10,000 lines of code that the machine just generated. Second, behind that app is the Codex 5.3 model. It is the most advanced coding model from that camp so far. It crushes Trust Me Bro style benchmarks and clocks in about 25% faster than earlier versions. It can also integrate skills like image generation, writing, and research, which means a single brain can cover a wide span of product responsibilities. Coding, content, and investigation start to blur into one continuous workflow. Third, the strongest rival is Claude with Opus 4.6.6. It is excellent at generating code, and the team behind it is moving into legal analysis, financial modeling, and other high-value tasks. That is aimed right at enterprise budgets. When an agent can draft contracts, simulate cash flows, and ship a feature, the idea of one person per seat becomes hard to defend. Fourth, the most dangerous pressure may come from the open side. Alibaba released Qwen 3 Coder Next, an open-weight and highly capable coding model that companies can host behind their own firewall. That undercuts a core advantage of subscription software: vendor lock-in. Why rent 5 different dev tools at $49 per month when a self-hosted brain can rebuild them from scratch for free? That is the kind of math that finance teams understand instantly. Fifth, Xi launched GLM-5, a model aimed at complex systems engineering and long-horizon agent jobs. It approaches and sometimes beats top closed models on the hard stuff. If a general model can coordinate long-running tasks across a system, it starts replacing what used to be handled by teams using varied tools and seats. Sixth, MiniMax M2.5 has been going viral because it delivers intelligence on par with frontier models at a fraction of the compute price. The industry is closing in on making those $200 AI plans feel obsolete. Top-tier reasoning is getting cheap, portable, and available to anyone with a decent GPU instead of a corporate expense account. Seventh, Microsoft is racing to own the platform for autonomous code orchestration with GitHub Agent, HQ. GitHub used to be a place to host code. Now it is turning into a full agent platform. Agents can open issues, create branches, and merge code when tests pass. It blends project management, quality assurance, and DevOps automation into a single loop. It looks less like a collaboration forum and more like a control room for autonomous software development. What about Google? The answer is found not in a chat model release, but in autonomy research. Waymo, the self-driving division, released the Waymo World Model focused on large-scale simulation and prediction. It shows how AI can model complex environments, make decisions, and act on them. Translate that into business and you get forecasting, logistics, risk modeling, and operations that run themselves. When that kind of brain handles planning and action, a traditional dashboard that simply visualizes data starts to feel obsolete. Put these threads together. An app for everyday parallel agents. A faster coding brain that stitches together images, writing, and research. A rival that reaches into legal and finance. Open models that live behind your firewall and rebuild your tools, systems models that manage long jobs, cheap reasoning that fits on a single GPU, an agent platform that ships code on its own, and a world model that proves autonomous decisions at scale. Each step cuts into the logic of charging per human user. Seat-based pricing depended on a gap between what people can do and what machines can do. That gap is shrinking fast. If one agent can replace 10 people, the category with 10 seats collapses to one automated pipeline. If your team buys one platform that orchestrates agents, the 5 subscriptions around it may vanish. If a company can host its own brain, the leverage shifts away from rented features and toward owned intelligence. Some will argue this is just hype, but the market already reacted. $1 trillion in value did not disappear for nothing. Executives now have a credible way to cut costs and increase output at the same time. Developers are seeing a shift in what their day looks like. Less from scratch building, more guiding, reviewing, and debugging large machine-generated codebases. The tools are showing up. The workflows are normalizing. And the seats are going empty. None of this means software is over. It means the business model is changing. When intelligence becomes abundant, software stops charging per human. When the seat dies, so does the SaaS profit margin. The only real question is who builds the platforms that orchestrate all of this, and who gets left behind.